Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you for joining me so late at night. I think this is going to be a very memorable hour of your time. So today I will be commentating the women's 3-position rifle event, the final that is live in Tokyo right now. Where I live, it is 1 in the morning, but there it's about 4 in the afternoon, and we have 8 very competitive women who are going to be shooting for the gold medal in Tokyo. So if you know nothing about shooting, let me just say this is one of my events. So I'm a rifle shooter. In Rio 2016, I actually won gold in my other event, so which was women's air rifle. So anyway, I know a lot about this event, so if you have any questions, please just comment them as we are live, and I will do my best to answer them. So just a quick explanation of how the final works. Each of these athletes is going to shoot a series of 5 shots in the kneeling position. So they had 5 minutes to sight in, then they did the introduction, so they already did that, and then they have 5 shots. Then they announce a few scores, and then they have 5 shots. So they repeat this 3 times. Then they have 7 minutes to change over to the prone position and do all of their sighters. After those 7 minutes, they're going to do 3 series of 5 shots in the prone position. Then again, they have 9 minutes to change over to the standing position and to shoot all their sighters. So it's very much a rush. Then they will do 2, not 3, 2 series of 5 shots. Then they will say goodbye to 7th and 8th place. They'll shoot 1 shot. And then your collective total, not just that 1 shot, but your collective total will decide who is eliminated in 6th place. 1 shot, 5th place, 1 shot, 4th place. Last person standing wins the gold medal. So that's how it's going to work. These athletes are currently in the kneeling position. So I have the scores right here, and I just want to say, if you want to watch this live, here's the best way to do it. If you're in the US and you have access to NBC, you can go on the NBC website and you can live stream this. Obviously, I cannot stream this to you because that would be illegal. If you're not in the US or you don't have access to NBC, you can go to the Olympics.com website where you can see the scores. There's no live video, but there's the scores and you can follow along with me. So anyway, these athletes are just starting into their 2nd series of 5 shots. And this is going to prove to be a extremely competitive final. So I believe that some of the athletes here are on their 1st Olympics, but some are on their 3rd Olympics. Some have won medals before, some have not. So there's definitely a huge amount of experience and depth. And I would say it's impossible to say who's going to win this final. And one of the very exciting things about small bore finals is they're very long. They're going to reach almost an hour, but the game is not over until you get to standing. So I kind of been known for my comebacks, going into standing. Standing's my strength. So it's completely possible for one of these athletes to be in 4th place going into standing and win. Like, it is possible, but all of these athletes, their goal is going to be in 1st place the whole way through. So right now we are just finishing our 2nd series of 5 shots. So what I'm gonna do is, now that we know how the final works, I'm just gonna give a quick score update as they finish these 10 shots. So 45 shots total, we're about 10 shots in. And then after I give the score update, I'd like to talk about some of them, how they shot in qualifications, what their previous achievements are, how I know them, etc. So, but we'll have lots of changeover time to discuss that. So, in 1st place, we have Jolyn Beer from Germany. I would say this is not a surprise. Jolyn's been shooting extremely well in definitely the last few months, but I would say the last few years, honestly. So not a surprise. She's also shooting very consistently. So 51.8 on her 1st set of 5 shots, 51.7 on her 2nd set. I know in some of the German national championships and stuff, she's been shooting some outrageously high scores, above the world record pretty consistently. So definitely not a surprise that she qualified. So in second place with a 102.3, so pretty far back. Oh, actually we have a tie for second place. So on 102.3, we have two athletes tied. Nina Kristen from Switzerland. She had the bronze medal in the air rifle event just a few days ago. So honestly, it's really tough. Speaking from personal experience, it's really tough to medal in your first event and then have to come back and shoot again. So the fact that she is has made the final and is shooting well so far is an amazing testament to her mental toughness. So again, tied for second place, we have Sagen Madalena. So this is our US athlete. Go Sagen, that's definitely who I'm rooting for. She was not in second place after her first set of 5, but a big comeback with a world-class 52.5 on her second series. So she will definitely be looking to keep up the momentum and stay in the medal contention. She is a fantastic shooter, has been kind of on the bubble of making the Olympic team for a little bit, for sure, and the fact that she made it this year was a really great testament to her work ethic. I would say she is definitely one of the top workers in the US in the women's rifle events. She is in the Army. She lives in Fort Benning, Georgia, where she's a member of the USAMU. All right, so moving down the line, we have Yulia Zaikova. So Yulia shot today and was actually our top contender for the qualification round. So she qualified in first, which is super exciting for her. And she actually has from the very last World Cup before this event, she has the silver medal in this event. So definitely someone to keep your eye on. All right, going down from that, we have Jeanette Dustad from Norway. Now, Jeanette came in 4th place in the women's air rifle event just a few days ago. So she will be looking to medal this time around. I'm sure there is a fire within her to medal. We also have Yulia Caramova from Russia, and she actually in the mixed team event took the bronze medal just a few days ago and has had she actually won this event in Croatia at the previous World Cup before this. So some very successful Russian athletes so far at this games. All right, moving down, we have Andrea Arsevich from Serbia. So Andrea has been shooting for a long time. I believe, I'm not quite sure on this, but I think she may be our oldest athlete in this final. And she has been, I think this is her 3rd Olympics, so definitely has been searching for a finals appearance in this event. So now just to have a finals appearance is amazing. And we're going to conclude with Ziva Dvorchak. And Ziva is from Slovenia and actually one of my very good friends. So she competed for West Virginia University, which is where I went to college, and she left before I came on the team. So I never knew her then, but actually she is someone I know well now, and she had a very good 3rd series of kneeling, and this is also her 3rd Olympics. I will say in the last few years, it's been the best I think Ziva has shot in her entire career, probably since like 2017, 2018, has had some really strong performances and actually won her first World Cup gold, I believe, in India just a few months ago. So definitely riding the momentum and looking for a good finish from her. So, all right, these athletes have finished their 3 series in kneeling. Just a quick score update. Yulia Zaikova from Russia in first, followed by Jolyn Beer, followed by Sagen, followed by Yulia Caramova from Russia, Nina Kristen, Jeanette Dustad, Andrea Arsevich, and Ziva Dvorchak in 8th. So the crazy part is there's really not a lot of distance between these athletes so far. So between your first and second is half a point, which at this point is nothing. Between third and second, half a point. Between fourth and third, 0.4, 0.2. It just keeps going. So what these athletes are doing right now is they are in their 7-minute changeover. So they have to change over from the kneeling position to the prone position. Now this seems easy, but really there's a lot of equipment. It's very technical, and you need to rush to have more time to shoot your sighters, but at the same time, you don't want to get your heart rate up and you don't want to get frazzled. So it is very clear by the speed at which they do this, and also the rhythm. Who has practiced this a lot? So it definitely takes a lot of practice to be fluid with your movements and to do this in a way where you're not forgetting anything and you're also prepared. So as we can see, these athletes, they are lacing their shoes, they are getting their guns changed over to go to the prone position, and they are almost ready. So some of them are even kind of getting into position right now. It'll be interesting to see who is first. It is hard to tell from this angle. No one is in position yet. They are just preparing. And as they do that, I think I would like to note some of the ages of these finalists. So Yulia Zaikova at 25 is going to be our youngest finalist. So definitely a very different sport than most Olympic sports where you have teenagers making the final pretty often. Just doesn't happen here. So Sajin, 27, Jolyn Beer, 27, Yulia Caramova, 27, that's looking kind of our average age. Andrea at 34 is our oldest finalist. And again, this is her third Olympics. So London and in Rio, and in both the 10-meter air rifle and the 50-meter 3-position rifle, she has not made a final. This is her first Olympic finals experience. So definitely really exciting for her to be in the mix and have a chance at a medal. Continuing on, Nina Kristen, 27. And she has a really good Instagram if anyone wants to go follow her there. Also, if you don't follow me, go follow me too. Ziva is 30 years old. And, oh, I misspoke. Jeanette Dustad is 22. So she is actually our youngest finalist from Norway. Norway has had a very strong team in the last few years, but kind of a disappointing Olympics for them. I think what we tend to see is some of the countries that just are coming up into the shooting scene to be really strong sometimes struggle at the Olympics because it's a different beast. And I think some of the countries that have been doing really well at the Olympics this year are countries that have kind of been there and experienced that level of intense pressure before. So China, Russia, and USA, I would say, are dominating in the shooting events this year. So definitely in the rifle events for sure. There are definitely some other countries in shotgun, for instance, some other countries tend to dominate versus in the rifle event. So, all right, all of these athletes are shooting in the prone position. They're getting sighted in. And remember, guys, with these sighting shots, they can take an unlimited number and they do not count towards their final score. But it is time, so when time is up, they have to shoot their 5 shots. So, and it's also interesting because you get less time in prone than you do in standing and kneeling. So you have 2.5 minutes for 5 shots, which averages out to 30 seconds per shot, which actually can be kind of a quick pace, especially if you are shooting in wind. Looks like this finals hall is not outside, if I am not mistaken. But it was interesting to see in the qualification event, it looked very windy. Obviously I wasn't there watching, but from commentating some of the shotgun finals and seeing how the flags moved, and also from the groups of the qualification round, from the scores and how the groups pattern, I could tell it was very windy. You also know some athletes are stronger wind shooters than others, and I would say the athletes that are more experienced in the wind tended to make it into the final versus some that are very talented athletes, but maybe just don't have as much experience in the wind. So, all right, these athletes should be finishing in the next minute or two with their prone sighting shots, and then we will go into the 3 series of 5 shots prone. Again, this is still anyone's game. It's very close. Even between 8th and 1st is 3 points, which is a little bit, but is not insurmountable in any way, especially with a very solid prone. You won't see a lot of score changes in prone as you will in standing. Standing is definitely the place where the big boys come to play, for lack of a better term. So these athletes look very focused right now, as you have to be. I would say the small bore 3P final is one of the tougher finals to shoot, I believe, because it is long. It is more like a marathon than anything else. And it's also hard to not have time to overthink. I feel like in a lot of finals, or just in a lot of sports in general, you're very reactive. A ball's coming at you, you catch it, or even in air rifle, it's just such a quick 50 seconds per shot and then you're on to the next one. It really forces you to stay present. Where in this event, where you're shooting these 5 series of shots in each position, and you're doing that so many times, there's always a little extra time to think and look at the scoreboard, and that makes it difficult, and it really, I think, shows the grit of the athletes who can stay focused, the athletes who can fight even when they're not in first place. So looking forward to seeing that. So if you don't know, in the prone event, we are in all of the finals for small bore, we count the decimals, right? So it's not did they shoot a 10 or did they shoot a 9? It is how deep was the 10? Was it a 10.3? Was it a 10.9, which is our maximum shot? So in prone, the scores tend to be a little higher. We're going to be looking for, a 10.5 or above average on every shot would be amazing. Of course, that's sometimes can be hard to do. But these athletes are more than capable of it. And yeah, so in standing, we will kind of be looking for more, keep it in the 10 ring, a 10.0 or above would be considered a good shot. But definitely in prone, the stakes are a little bit higher for sure. So we will see. So anything I would say above a 52 for the 5-shot series is good. Anything above a 52.5 is great. Anything above a 53 I would say is like world class. So anyway, these athletes have finished their first series. We have a 52.9 by my friend Ziva. That moves her from 8th place to 5th place. So looks like her prone position has settled in quite nicely. Other notable scores, we have a few above 52, 52.1 from Yulia Zaikova, 52.1 from Jeanette Dustad. Other than that, bit of a rough 50.9 from Sajin drops her down to tied 6th place. However, we are far from over, and Sajin's a fighter if I've ever known one. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's got. All right, so now there's a few announcements, and they will now start into their second series of 5 shots. Yeah, so definitely a lot of experience. 2 of these athletes, Ziva and Andrea, have been to 3 Olympics, which is so impressive. And a lot of these athletes are actually in their first Olympics. Nina has been to 2, but our Russian athletes, both Yulias, Jeanette, Sajin, and Jolyn, this is all their first Olympics. So amazing to see. I'd also say it's been difficult in the last year to kind of tell who's good, who's gonna make the final, who's having a really great year, just with COVID, because we haven't had a lot of matches. So in 2020 there weren't really a lot of matches, and in 2021, we had 2 the India World Cup and the Croatia World Cup, but at the same time, a lot of countries elected to not go for safety reasons, just leading into the games. So I think it was hard to tell. Kind of surprising, no Chinese athletes made the final. China has been very strong in this Olympics so far. And especially, I would say they're more dominant in air rifle, but definitely, you know, it's in the last 5 years, I feel like there's kind of been a changing of the generations, a passing of the torch. So I think you can even see that here with some of our younger athletes, you know, having some 22s, 25s, a lot of 27-year-olds, whereas a lot of the times you'll see shooters over 30 making the finals for sure. And a lot of the medalists from the last games are not here, notably Petra Zublazing, who came in 4th in the last games, also a West Virginia University graduate. So she's not here. Yeah, there's a few names missing. I kind of am like the in-between generation, so I kind of know like all the young ones and all the old ones of the sorry, not old, didn't mean to call anyone old, but yeah. All right, so they are finishing their second series right now. A very nice 52.8 from Jeanette moves her into second place. Let's see, Ziva followed her 52.9 up with a 50.9, which drops her down a little bit, but again, scores are incredibly close. Had a few 52.4s, 52.3s, high 51s, so yeah, no one's really pulling away with this. I would say Yulia Zaikova seems very motivated. She has just about a 1 point lead, 0.9 lead on second, but again, going into standing, that's nothing. And the thing with standing here is you do not have a lot of time to find your position, and I find the best athletes in finals are athletes who have worked really hard to be able to find their position at a moment's notice. And also recognizing that your hold in a final does not dictate how you shoot. I feel like a lot of athletes, especially younger athletes, not these athletes, get very concerned with like, oh my gosh, my hold's not good, I can't possibly shoot 10s. Whereas, you know, when I'm shooting a final and my hold's not good, I'm like, oh, who cares? You know, it's more about just like breaking them in the center anyway. So, yeah. These athletes are now on their third series of 5 shots. After this, we are going to have a 9-minute changeover. So kind of a pause from the score announcing. Maybe I can tell you a little bit more about these athletes. And if you have any questions about this final, please drop them in the comments section. So yeah, okay, as they shoot, just a few more shots left. Before we can announce the scores. This final is going pretty fast. And notably, there's only 2 more events left in the entire Olympics for the shooting event. So we have the men's version of this event, the men's 3-position small bore, and we also have the rapid fire pistol event, the men's rapid fire pistol event. So those are the last 2 finals, which is so exciting. But yes, as you guys are probably well aware, I am commentating any final where an American makes it. And I have done several so far. We've had a lot of medalists, so fortunately. And yes, hopefully you guys will see me for those next 2 finals too. All right, Jeanette, Yulia Zaikova in first and Jeanette Justad in second both shoot a 53.1, world-class shooting. Yulia Caramova shoots a 52.9 and Sajin shoots a 52.6. Our other athletes are all in the 51s except for Andrea, who had a very unfortunate 49.2. That drops her down into 8th place. She is about 3.3 points from 7th place, which is going to be a bit tougher to surmount than some of the other athletes right now. So we will see what happens, of course, but now we're going to do the changeover to standing. after the changeover in standing, we're going to shoot two series of 5 shots. These athletes have 4 minutes and 10 seconds for these 2 series of 5 shots. And after that, we will start eliminations. So Andrea is on the bubble in 8th place. We also have Ziva on the bubble in 7th place. However, she's only 0.3 from 6th place, which is not very far. So 6th place is Jolyn Beer from Germany, and notably last quad in Rio, Barbara Englander won this very event from Germany. Fantastic woman. She is really funny. She is a riot. She actually made the women's air rifle event, the event I won, and came in 4th place, which, as we know, is not a fun place to come in. And afterwards, you know, all the finalists go and congratulate each other, and she gave me a hug, and she was like, "You jerk, you just had to win, didn't you?" And I just thought it was so funny, because everyone else is like, "Oh my gosh, congrats, you're amazing," and she's like, "You jerk." Anyway, she retired shortly after that, and I believe she had a daughter, so congrats to her. And the daughter's probably 4 now, so crazy how time flies. So anyway, Jolyn looking to have a similar experience today with a medal. She is in 6th place, like we said, but she is 1.2 points from 5th. Not insurmountable at all with a fantastic standing. So Nina is in 5th. Again, Nina came in 3rd in the women's air rifle event just a few days ago, and she will be looking for a 2nd medal. It's really rare to have 2 medals in 2 different events, just because it's hard. It's, you know, there's a lot of athletes that are 2-gun shooters. I would consider myself a 2-gun shooter, but to perform in the highest pressure in both guns is really difficult, especially if you've never done it before. I think the most notable example is Nico Compriani. So Nico in London 2012 won a gold and a silver, and then in 2016 was able to win 2 golds in small bore and air rifle, which is honestly, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that's so impressive. That's crazy impressive, just that level of dominance. And also consistency. It's really hard to have consistency in this sport because there are so many variables and there's so much competition, truly. So and like I said, it's hard to refocus after winning a medal, especially if it was a surprise. I would say Nina's at a bit of an advantage because even though this was her first medal a few days ago, this is her 2nd Olympics. So definitely a little more used to the Olympic atmosphere, the village, kind of the pressures of it. So, and I believe she shoots for the army in Switzerland. So that's a common thing you see around the world, that these athletes are actually in the army and their government duties are limited, but that is how they are funded, and it's a really great way to fund the athletes, especially in Europe. In the US, it's a great system, but the duties as a army person are a little more intense, I would say. They're not crazy intense, but definitely a few hours every day doing military work. So, all right, in 4th place right now, we had Sagen with that 52.6. She pulled herself up a little bit. So there's about 0.4 between 4th place and 5th place, and 0.7 between 4th place and 3rd place. Truly anyone's game so far, so fingers crossed for Sagen. And I will say, Sagen was actually the alternate in 2016 for the Olympics, and she did such a good job training with the team and just being a really supportive team member at that time. And that's one of the gratifying things, I think, is to see, you know, your friends and teammates kind of come full circle. I'm a big Sagen fan, and she, for her to make the Olympic team this year after being the alternate last time, so I'm the alternate this year, and of course I don't want to be the alternate. I want to be on the team. I want to be there shooting. However, you know, thinking about Sagen in 2016 has always been a great reminder of how I want to behave as the alternate and how supportive I want to be of my teammates, because that's what she did for me. In 2016, we were roommates a lot of the summer together, training and competing, and I think she was her and some of my other teammates were a great part of helping me be successful. So, okay, in third place right now, we have Yulia Caramova. She is sitting at a 309.6. I would say our top three contenders have pretty high scores, especially for it being the Olympics. The last Olympics, the record was set at a 458.6. These girls are looking on track to break that Olympic record, whoever wins. So she had a very strong, especially her last series of prone, and she is 1.1 behind Jeanette Justad from Norway. Now, Jeanette had a killer prone through and through. I think, I think she had the best prone of anyone in that round, in the whole final, the best prone. So she is in second place, and she is 0.9 from our first place contestant, Yulia Zaikova. So between the top three, there's only 2 points. So anything could happen. These athletes have all made it into the standing position. If you are watching on the NBC app, you can kind of see their positions. Really interesting to see the differences in foot width, the differences in kind of back bend. Also, of course, which guns they're shooting, what suits they're shooting. These are all very interesting things to see, especially if you are kind of a fanatic of the sport and like to evaluate your own positions comparatively. But of course, we don't want to copy, right? We don't want to copy someone else's position or stance or gun just because they do it and they're successful. You know, we want to try to learn why they do it, because I'm 5'1". Some of these athletes are so much taller than me, and our positions just wouldn't work for each other, you know? So finding someone with the same body type would, you know, be a good start if that's something you're interested in. So anyway, these athletes are still in their 9-minute changeover. If you are impressed with my ability to talk for an hour straight, you're welcome. And also, you should check out my Instagram live. So every month I have a live interview with a shooting athlete or other person. And we talk for about an hour, and they're super interesting so far. I would definitely, if you're into rifle, I would definitely check out my one with Matt Emmons. That's one of my favorite ones so far. You can also check out my live with Sarah Shearer. She was my 2016 Olympic teammate, and we talked a lot about nutrition and what to eat as an athlete, and I thought it was so much fun and so nostalgic. So those are the two I would recommend for you guys. And for your information, next month I'm going to be having, and I haven't announced this yet, so if you're listening to this, you are getting the scoop. Next month I'm going to have Dan Durbin, who is the U.S. National Rifle Coach and my coach right now. He's going to come on our Instagram Live and talk to us about what it's like being an Olympic coach, and how the U.S. did in Tokyo, and kind of his breakdown. And this is not his first Olympics, so I think it's going to be a super fascinating conversation. So definitely let me know if you are excited for that, because I know I personally am excited for that. So, all right, these athletes are still in their sighting period. You can see a lot of shuffling around with their feet, with their movements. Of course, standing just naturally has a lot more movement and shuffling than the other positions. That being said, it takes a while to get comfortable, and even though these athletes are at the top of their game, especially when you are under pressure, it's very difficult to get comfortable. And from what I've heard, it's very hot and humid in Tokyo, even inside. So these athletes are probably, they're probably a little drained, and that's okay, right? I feel like we want that, right? Because that shows who's the toughest, and that's who should win. So, all right. Also, beautiful looking range. I love kind of the open air space of it. Looks like there's a lot of room for spectators. Of course, there's no spectators, but from what I've seen, a lot of the countries have been doing a really good job tuning into the finals of the other events. So the shotgun will attend the pistol, and the rifle will attend the shotgun, and vice versa, and on and so forth. So awesome to see kind of that team camaraderie. I know a lot of the athletes probably sympathize with their fellow teammates for not really having the fan base they kind of expect there, and also, you know, everyone's friends and family at home watching them, supporting. Of course, I'm sure it's tough to not have your family there, especially if you are successful and you do medal. I know that was a really special moment for me, was sharing my gold medal with my family. My parents and my two brothers were all in Rio, which was really cool. So, and hopefully all of us will be in Paris too. So lots of time left in my shooting career. So, all right, these athletes are just starting their first 5-shot series in standing. So this is when it gets really exciting. I don't want to say that standing's my favorite position, but I love standing a lot. And I think some of these athletes probably do too. And this is probably a time that they're nervous, of course. You're in the Olympic final. How could you not be nervous? But at the same time, looking forward to finishing competing, and to finishing competing strong for sure. So, all right. They are continuing on. Sajan started with 2 9s, unfortunately, but followed it up with 2 identical 10.5s. So that should be enough to keep her about where she is. 1 shot left. We will see who has a really good, we'll see who has a really good series and who doesn't. That's what we're looking for. From the top of our leaderboard, Yulia Zaikova with a 9.7, 10.5, 9.6, 10.4. So just kind of breaking even at the 50 mark. If someone were to shoot, a 51, anything above the 51, they're definitely moving up. So that is what they will be looking for. Let's check on the other end of our leaderboard. Ooh, Andrea trying to make a comeback. She had 4 10s out of that 5 shots with a 50.9. Very nice. Unfortunately, she is pretty far behind. She's still 2 points behind, so not a ton of time to make up. Ziva with a 49.4, probably not what she was hoping for, especially with the 9.2 on her last shot. So she's in 7th place. Jolyn Beer with a 50.5, decent. Not going to move her up too much, but definitely not falling behind. All right, Sajan had a 9.8 on her last shot. That moves her from 4th place down to 5th place. Hopefully she can use her momentum and have a really strong second series. All right, Yulia Caramova moved to 4th place with a 49.7, 8.6 on her first shot. After that, 9.9, 9.9, 10.8, 10.5. So very strong, just had an accidental shot. Of course, crazy things happen in the Olympics. So 3rd place, Kristen right now moving herself up with a 51.0. Excellent shooting, 2 9.8s to end out, but that's going to move her up any day of the week, especially in the Olympic finals. So she's about 1 point from second right now, and will be looking to go for her 2nd medal of the games. Jeanette, who's in 2nd place with a 49.8. Not amazing, but not bad. So she is still in 2nd. Unfortunately, that means for her that Yulia got a little bit of a lead with her 50.6 on that round. So anyway, they are now in their 2nd series of 5 shots. After this, we're going to eliminate 7th and 8th place. They will say, "Thank you for coming, please sit down." Really hard to get eliminated first. I've been there, not too often thankfully, but I think 4th place is definitely the worst place to be, followed by 9th place, not getting a chance to medal to make the finals. But, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th also are kind of hard positions oftentimes. But it's all about the expectations of the athlete. And, you know, I've seen athletes come off in 6th place overjoyed, and I've seen athletes win a silver medal and be crying afterwards. So we will definitely not make any judgments. Andrea, 8.5 on her first shot of her second standing series. That does not bode well for her being on the bubble right now. But as I was saying, we will not make any judgments about how these athletes are going to feel about their performance. We will wait and see what happens. And I always am curious to see how the coaches interact with them when they get eliminated, etc. So pretty exciting. All right. On the bottom of the leaderboard, Andrea is shooting, and she just had a 9.1. She has 1 shot to go. It looks like she will probably be our 8th place contestant. Sagen has dropped from 5th to 6th place with a 9.4. She's not shooting badly. She's just kind of right on the cusp. Like I said, it's really hard to find that standing position so fast, for sure. I know that Sajan's a really strong qualifications shooter and has been kind of working on and seeing a lot of progress in her finals so far, and I'm sure, you know, we all have things to work on, and we always will. And I think that's the best part about shooting, is that you're never perfect. You're always working on something. And I feel like, you know, if you have a great final one day, you know, how do you have the consistency to have that day after day? But she has been shooting very well so far, and hopefully will shoot some strong 10s to pull herself up into the medal round. That would be ideal. All right. So these athletes just have a minute or 2 left to finish their second series of 5 shots. Now we're going to go into our individual shots. So we will shoot 1 shot in 50 seconds and then say goodbye, thanks for coming. And it's gonna go really fast from here on out. And I'm just hoping my phone doesn't die. It's 2 a.m. I've been commentating finals all day. Seems like, anyway. So, all right. And it looks like we're going to say goodbye to Andrea in 8th place. Congratulations to Serbia. We're also going to say goodbye to Ziva Dvorchak in 7th place. Congratulations to Slovenia. That is Ziva's first Olympic final. So hopefully she is happy. We will see on the screen. They just run a minute late on the screen on the video, so we will see kind of how they are feeling as they get eliminated. So in 6th place on the bubble right now, we have Sagen Madalina from the USA, and she is 0.8 from 5th place, Jolyn Beer from Germany, which is totally overcomable. So we will see what happens there. I will say Jolyn had some pretty nice standings so far, 50.5, 50.9. Jeanette had a 50.4 on that. However, the top 3 had some very strong shooting. So 51.0 from Yulia Zaikova, 51.9, a high for that series from Kristen. She is saying, I want a second medal. And then a 51.7 from Yulia Caramova. So, pretty close between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Little jump, 5th and 6th. All right, Andrea is walking off the line right now. Not looking super pleased. Oh, getting yelled at because she doesn't have her mask on. 2020, 2021. So anyway, going back for her mask, all the athletes just have to wait for her to sit down, so they will wait and hold. Putting her mask on. Yes, we will see her interactions with her coach. All the coaches are sitting right behind them. They will go join the coach when they sit down. A little fist bump and a hug. Yeah. Ziva sitting down, her coach, who's an amazing person. Ziva looking a little disappointed, of course. So, sitting down, we'll try to catch a glimpse of my coach over there. Don't know if we'll see him. All right. So, one shot to go. Oh my goodness. Sagen with a 10.4 moves herself up into 5th place. Jolyn Beer, 9.1. We will say goodbye to her in 6th place. Yeah, it's that's kind of a tough break for Jolyn. You want to end on a 10, that's for sure. And also she's been kind of probably going into this the most dominant small bore athlete in the world. World rankings aren't that indicative of anything, but I would say our 2 Russian athletes had a really strong showing at the Croatia World Cup. Jolyn's been showing really strongly at the German national matches, which normally you'd be like, oh, it's just a national match, but with COVID, we haven't had a lot of international matches. So she is putting on her mask, putting her gun down now. We will see her reaction. Oh, wave to the crowd. Great. Hey, give a little head shake. I think she was one of the few, if not the only, I think for rifle, the only German athlete representing in Tokyo. So I'm happy she made the final. Okay. All right, one shot to go. Let's see what happens. A little bit of a gap between 5th and 4th. Ooh. All right. Gonna wait for them to finish shooting one more shot and then I will announce. This is getting exciting though. Okay, so Nina has taken over the lead with a 10.4. Sagen shot a 9.5 and will be eliminated in 5th place. Congrats to Sagen. First Olympics to make the final, 5th place. Excellent job. Proud to be her teammate for sure. Jeanette shot a very unfortunate 8.6, which drops her into 4th place. Now, she is 1.3 points from 3rd, which looking a bit tough. All right, Sagen looks very upset. She kind of slammed her bolt open, and she is going to be eliminated. So we'll see when she walks off the line how she's feeling. Anyway, with Jeanette's 8.6, she may have just taken herself out of medal contention. And our Russian Yulias are in 2nd and 3rd. Okay, Sagen putting her gun down, jacket unbuttoned, mask on, grab the water bottle. Yeah, she's not looking particularly pleased. Going to sit down. All right. It looks like Mike McPhail, the AMU coach, is there with her. Gave her a little fist bump. He has been to many Olympics himself, and I'm sure can empathize and sympathize and all of those with every emotion Sagen's feeling right now. And it truly is an emotional roller coaster no matter what place you come in the Olympics. So, all right, Jeanette had a 10 and Yulia Caramova had a 9.3, but unfortunately it was not enough. So we will say goodbye to Jeanette in 4th place, which is, as we know, one of the hardest positions. But now we have our medalists. It's just left to figure out what colors they will be. Nina with a 10.7 is looking strong and determined. She has a 1.1 lead over Yulia Zaikova in 2nd place. So two solid 10s for her, and which she has been on track, having a very great standing. Like I said, standing is truly where the mark is made in this event. So Jeanette, our youngest athlete at 22, love her hair, have to say it, looks great. So she's putting her gun down, putting on her mask, waves to the crowd, definitely also looking a little disappointed. I feel like all of these athletes' emotions are running pretty hot right now. So, all right, we are down to 3. Nina is setting herself up to be the most successful female rifle athlete in this games. I would say our the Chinese athlete who won the women's gold in air rifle and in mixed team won gold, definitely also super successful. And Nina is looking to have 2 medals herself, one in bronze and the other one to be determined. With a 10.4, she maintains her lead. Yulia Caramova with a 9.8 is out with a bronze medal. Congratulations, Russia having a very strong Olympics. But anyway, I think Nina is showing her breadth of ability here to medal in 2 different guns. I will say, maybe not the person I expected to win 2 medals, but definitely super awesome and proud to know her for sure. So we message a lot on social media. So, all right, Yulia is putting her gun down in this event. Does not look happy at all. Okay, but she will be going home with a bronze medal. So, all right. And with 1 shot to go, we are about to determine our first place athlete. There is a 1.3 point difference between Yulia Zaikova and Nina Kristen. And with that, Nina shoots a 10.2 and takes gold. Fantastic shooting from Nina, especially in the standing position. So in her first 5, she had a 50.0, her second 5, a 51.9, and all 10s on her 5 single shots. So 463.9, which is an Olympic record and is less than a point out of the world record, which was set by Petra Zublazing in Baku years ago, 6 years ago. So amazing. Looks very calm on that last shot to have a 10. She looks like she just knows she's going to do it. And congrats to Yulia Zaikova for your silver medal. So 2 points back. Nina having the grace to have a little celebration, but wait on the big celebration until her competitor finishes. Okay, big gun in the air. Nina is looking thrilled, as she should. She just won an Olympic gold medal. Both guns. Wonderful. Last I talked to her, she was thinking about going back to school for some of the next quad while shooting still. So we'll see if that plan changes, but I'm sure that is the last thing on her mind right now. But yes, Yulia Zaikova, after winning the qualification, coming in second, silver medal, amazing. Nina with her second medal of the games. Big smiles all around. Maybe some happy tears. Totally fine with that. So, all right, now they will take a bunch of photos and then they will have the podium ceremony, drug testing, and a whole shebang of a media day for our medalists. So, amazing, great. I think all of those athletes represented themselves very well, and you could definitely see the fight in every single one of them. Be interested to talk to all of them once their emotions cool off in a few weeks. So, all right, congrats to our medalists. Congrats in particular to Sajin, our US athlete. And I'd like to thank everybody here today for joining me on the stream. And just once again, I will be going live if any American makes the final. We still have men's 3P rifle and men's rapid fire pistol. So look out for that, and you can stay tuned on my social media for more info. So thank you and have a great night. It is after 2 in the morning here. I am going to bed.